Hi guys, so let's get started on another Christmas cookie. Today we're going to be making a fondant snowflake cookie. So let's get started. So you're going to need fondant or gum paste in the color of your choice. You're going to use highlight or luster dust or mystical dust, any shape cutter that you would like. I used the PME snowflake cutters, a paintbrush, and a rolling pin. I roll my gum paste or fondant out on a piece of parchment paper for my cookies, so that way I don't have to add any icing sugar or shortening, and it doesn't stick. So you want to roll it out pretty thin so it doesn't stick off your cookie too much. So you just keep rolling it until you get the desired thickness. I like it to be a little bit thicker than a piece of paper. So it's very, very thin. So you guys can see how thin it is there. It's really not that thick. And I'll roll it out a little bit more if ever I feel that it's not 100% exactly the thickness I would like. So just 1 or 2 times more. Make sure it's as thin as I can get it. Once it's not rolling out anymore, you've achieved pretty much as thin as you can get it. So a little bit thicker than a piece of paper. And then you cut out your shapes. If you're working on a hard surface, the plunger cutters with the embossing directly in them do not work very well. So what I do is I'll cut it out. I like to clean up my edges if ever I have any excess. And I'll use different shapes on my cookies and different sizes to get a little visual interest. So again, cut out the shape, clean up any edges, any fondant or gum paste that might be sticking out that is not part of my design. Again, cleaning up any edge that might be sticking over. I will then cover my finger in either confectioner's sugar or cornstarch, and then emboss the snowflake, and it gives me a nice depth to my design as well, rather than having just the flat embossing that I would normally have. And then you're going to place them on your parchment paper or any other surface to dry. Want to make sure to place them the way that you would like them to appear on your cookie so that they can dry in that shape. So again, I'm going to do the same thing, dip my finger in my powdered sugar, press out. If ever it falls out, it happens every once in a while, just line it back up, stick your finger on the center, and then press in to emboss. Take it off your finger and let it dry. Same thing again, powdered sugar, press in the center, emboss, and then place down on my parchment paper to dry. I would let these dry, I would say 2 to 4 hours for them to dry completely because they are so thin. So I have on my parchment paper dried ones and ones that we just did that are not dry yet. So you're going to put a little bit of your luster dust or pearl dust in the top of your container with your paintbrush and come and slowly paint on your snowflakes. If they are dry, they are much shinier than if they are wet. The powder adheres to them much better, so you want to make sure to do every angle, and you can put as much or as little powder as you want on them. You can alternate on your cookie, adding ones that have more, ones that have less. Because they're embossed, the more powder you put on them, the more the embossing will come out. It'll make the shape much more accentuated, so you get a nice effect. If they're flat, they'll just be shiny. If you have some type of embossing in them, it makes that really stick out and add another piece of visual interest. You have to be very careful with them once they're dry, because they dry quite hard, and they can be very fragile. If ever you press too hard on an end, it can rip off. So you want to make sure to be as careful as you possibly can with them, so that they don't break off, or pieces don't break off. If ever they do, it's not really that big of a deal because it's a snowflake on a cookie. Snowflakes come in all shapes and sizes, so if ever there's a piece missing off of it, you just pretend that's exactly how you wanted it to be, and you stick it on your cookie with that edge towards one of the edges of your cookie and not towards the center, so it looks like it's just kind of off of your cookie, and no one will ever notice that that was not your intention. So again, slowly, carefully coming around all the edges, making sure that you cover every part with your dust to make them nice and shimmery and shiny. So I'm showing you different patterns that you can do as well. So if you look at the two that were together there, you can tell that one of them is much shinier than the other. When I move my hand, you'll be able to tell. So again, slowly, but surely, just coming around on each of the tips and lightly painting on your luster dust or your pearl dust. So again, you have to be very delicate with the ones that are not dry, because if you press too hard on them, you can crush them. Or again, pieces can stay stuck to your finger and they can rip off. So if you can tell the difference between one that has been dried, that is very shiny, that I see the pattern really, really well. I can see the embossing come out really nicely. And the ones that were not dried, you can tell they're a little less shiny. So different patterns that you can do. You can add one big one and one small one, kind of offset. So that's really nice of a look. You can add one medium-sized one and two small ones, which again is very nice. You can also do one medium-sized one and one small one, or you can make 3 small ones. I always recommend kind of off-centering them so that they're not exactly in a triangular shape, or else it looks a little odd. So I want to kind of have them off-centered a little bit so they're not directly all one on top of each other. So you're going to use your royal icing and outline your cookie. Noticing how far away I am from the cookie, I am really coming and guiding my icing because I have the distance to control where I'm going. And then I'm going to come in and flood my cookie. I use 15 to 20 second icing for my cookies. That way I can outline and flood my cookies with the same icing. You can use 2 if you would like, if that's how you work. It's up to you. You just want to work a little bit faster with icing that is 15 to 20 second icing, or it will heal a little faster, which in this case is a little better, so that you have a little bit of support for your snowflakes as they're going on. With your toothpick, you're going to come around and slowly, in circular motions, push out your icing to achieve a perfect circle, as we cannot really achieve it 100% with just the icing. I can't anyways. Just slowly, surely push out your icing and get any air pockets that might be trapped in there out. You want to work delicately, but you want to work quickly, as your icing will start to heal rather quickly because it is a little bit thicker. So you want to be as detail oriented as you can, but make sure that you're going as quickly as possible around to try and avoid your icing healing on you and cracking. So you go all the way around your cookie, making sure it's nice and even all the way around to the edge. Once you're finished going all the way around your cookie, you are then going to come into the center and just even out any surface, making sure to get all the air pockets out so you don't have any dips or crevices in your cookie once it has healed and dried completely. If ever it's not flattening out as quickly as you would like, you can shake it a little bit or tap it, and then quickly just place your snowflakes into your wet icing, into the pattern that you would like. I like to make more than one pattern when I'm making this type of cookie. Lets me have a little bit of variation. And there we go. Hope you like it. So to add a little snow effect onto our cookie, we're going to use some mystical dust or disco dust that's just kind of shiny, and just slowly sprinkle it on with our paintbrush. So add some onto our brush and just tap our brush around, and that'll give us a nice shiny effect. You want to do this before your cookie is completely dried, and it gives you a nice sparkly effect on the cookie. It's a nice finishing touch. Hope you guys like it. Leave in my comments any other type of cookies you'd like to see. See you soon. Bye.